And, every Friday I have my what to watch list, right? Where I talk about all the amazing shows that I'm watching, my top 5. And this woman has directed probably just about everything that I've had on my list. So I was like, wait a minute. She's done. Wait, Greenleaf. Okay, wait, hold on now. Queens, even though that's not coming back, and that's a travesty. I'm gonna blame Eve for that. But right now she's doing 2 shows. First of all, BMF, which I said I wasn't going to watch. I wasn't going to watch it, but I ended up getting drug into the world of those men. And one of my favorite shows that's coming back, The Gilded Age. Oh my goodness. Can't wait to talk to you. Yes. Let me welcome to the show for the first time, Miss Crystle Roberson. Hey.
Hey, Karen. How are you?
I am good. All right. Before we get into all of the stuff that you do, are you related to Angela Bassett? You giving me Angela Bassett vibes, face, and voice. Yes.
Oh, honey, I wish I was. She is one of the most beautiful women that I've ever seen. When I saw her in person once, I was like, she's breathtaking. So that's a huge compliment. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So Angela, you got a cousin in Crystle. First of all, shout out. Second, where are you from? Because you're giving me also Southern Belle. You're giving me Southern Belle.
I am. Yes. I'm from Macon, Georgia. I grew up in a town about an hour and a half south of Atlanta, where Otis Redding is from, James Brown, Little Richard. We had a lot of soul come up out of Macon, Georgia. And that's where I grew up.
Okay, so you right there near the South Carolina border almost. Augusta is
Well, it's right in the heart of Georgia. They call it the heartbeat of Georgia because it's literally smack dab in the middle of Georgia. Yeah.
So James Brown must have got around because I heard he was like from Augusta.
James Brown was born in Augusta, but he lived and did music and stuff a lot in Macon with Otis and all of them. Yep.
Okay, so how does a woman?
We still like to claim James, even though he was born in Augusta. Yeah.
Right, because my mom is from Augusta, so that's why I'm giving you just a little, because everybody, when you from a place, you like that's my people's. For you growing up in Macon, I even though you had Otis Redding, you had that music thing to direct, though, seems like such an out of reach, which is why I think it's so important. And I'm grateful that you've come through because if you don't see a thing, you can't be a thing. And for me, until I saw, I just got to talk with Julie Dash. Oh my goodness. And Lord have mercy. And, Sally Richardson, who's, contemporary, but there weren't a whole lot of women directing, Black women directing when I was coming up. And so I'm imagining you didn't get to see a whole lot either.
No, not at all. Honestly, there was no one in Macon, period. Men, women, nobody was directing or working in film. The closest thing was the news station. I saw people working, at the news station. I had an internship, but honestly, I had no clue of how to break in or how to even start. So, but that's what motivated me, because it was just such a big dream. It just seemed like such a big dream that was out of my reach. And so that really kind of set me on fire to go and do it.
So what was the film? We're talking with Crystle Roberson. We're going to get into all of the things she's directing. What was the film or the TV show where you were like, I'm going to do this?
It had to be The Color Purple. I was watching The Color Purple and I had seen it so many times before because my mom loved watching it. We had watched it over and over again. We know all the words. But when I saw it one day in college, because I started off as a photographer, and I saw it a certain way in college, and I saw that it was a motion photograph. It was motion photography. Steven Spielberg did such a great job with that. And, and that was when it really clicked in my brain, like, movies, I could do movies. And I know how to tell stories with pictures. And then I was just even more on fire, from that point on. But yes, definitely The Color Purple, which I know front and back, all the words.
All right. Favorite scene. Favorite scene
has to be, it's got to be when Celie is united with her kids. It always makes me cry, no matter what. It always makes me cry. But of course, you got when Miss Sophia comes to confront Celie you told Harpo to beat me, you know, like it's just a classic scene.
Mine,
So many of
mine
them
is all my life I had to fight.
had to fight.
I had
Yes.
to fight my and when she's at the table, when I seat you, Miss Silly, I know there was a
I
God.
know there was a God.
Now
Yep.
hush up all of that and pass the P. Miss Sophia home now. That
We're
part.
home now.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Yes.
I don't know what it is about that film that should have won on all the Oscars. And this is how much I'm into it. That year, Out of Africa, and I love Meryl Streep, but I literally fell asleep in the theater with my mouth open and drool coming down. Because I love Meryl Streep. I was like, y'all got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
How in the hell did that win over The Color Purple?
Yeah.
That's when I was like, this Academy's trash.
Yeah. It's unfair sometimes the way that the voting goes in those award shows. Because it narrows down to the people who are voting, and sometimes it's a popularity contest. And that was a breakout role for Oprah Winfrey and introducing Whoopi Goldberg, and they didn't understand at that time like how huge those women would be, but yeah, I think a lot of times award shows sometimes begin to be like a popularity contest. Meryl Streep has always had it, had that popularity, as talented as she is. But I agree with you. The Color Purple should have took it home for sure.
All of the roles. Even Mr. Even Harpo. Is that a fist? No, the horse. It was man.
It was that mule, Paul.
It was that mule. Yeah.
Oh, the mule.
Yeah. Harpo, who that woman? All of that. Like to this day, I feel like all of Tyler Perry's plays got a moment, a Color Purple moment in it. It's so impactful. Oh, so you go from this movie, understanding motion pictures, understanding that perhaps you are really good at storytelling, to what? Like, what was the first break that you got where you could actually like make a living doing this?
Yeah, so I went to film school at Savannah College of Art and Design, and right around that time, the Georgia tax incentive hit. So like, basically you get 30% back for every production that's filmed in Georgia. So all of these like movies and TV shows started to flood Atlanta. And I was in film school going into debt. I had already gotten my bachelor's degree. I was getting my master's degree in film, going into debt. And somebody was like, hey, in the film industry, you can just start. They don't care if you have a master's degree or whatever you have. You should probably just jump in there. So I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. And my first paid job was on a movie called Stomp the Yard, produced by Will Packer, Rob Hardy, Rainforest Films. And I started off as a base camp PA, getting the actors ready. I had no idea what I was doing. And I was like, just happy to be there. So that was my first paid job, was a PAing for Rainforest on Stomp the Yard. And wow. And I didn't know what I was doing. I almost got fired, just truth be told. And I was like, you know what? No, like I've left film school for this. I've changed my entire life for this. This is my dream. And I stepped it up and I learned, and I ended up being like the best assistant on that show. And by the end of that movie, by the time we were done shooting, they were like, okay, we're going to hire you again on the next thing and the next thing. And then I just kept working and kept working. And I was a PA. I was that PA who was always shooting short films on the weekends. I would gather people on set like, hey, man, you want to help me shoot my short film? I'm shooting something this weekend. And I would just, we would just do that. So I was just always shooting something, because like directing is a muscle. You don't just pop out being good. It's just like going to the gym. You start off a little weak. Your muscles, you got to build those up. And so you just got to shoot over and over again. I made a lot of really bad short films that started getting better and better. Then I started winning awards and going from there. So it all started from being a PA on set and just figuring out how to make movies.
When did Private Garden come, and how did you get I'm asking for a friend, Idris Elba. How did this happen?
So Private Garden, so I won this MySpace competition. That's how long ago this
Wow. She
was.
said MySpace. Hold on. I need a moment. Okay, go ahead, continue. MySpace.
MySpace, okay. So back in the day, MySpace was a great place for artists, musicians to display their work. So Idris had a song on MySpace. And he was like, hey, he had this competition where he was like, whoever does a video for this song, if you do the best video, it's an opportunity to go to a film festival in London and film some stuff with Idris Elba. So I was like, okay, let me put my hat in the ring, of course. So I shot a video for a different song, just a little video with my friend's daughter. We just made something really cute and submitted it, and I ended up winning the competition. And that led to opportunities to Idris was also interested in directing at the time, so it led to opportunities to co-direct things with him. And then Private Garden, he sent me that song and said, Crystle, I would love for you to direct this video. So it was a very small crew down in Puerto Rico, and we went down and shot it, and it turned out really beautifully, in my opinion. And Idris is just such a great artist to work with. He's an all-around great actor, musician, and just a good guy all around. So that's always been a good highlight of my career in terms of working with an artist. So I'm glad you brought that up.
No, I'm just cute, well, first of all, I've seen him in New York, like, cause he's like regular, like he'll just be chilling. Like he's not with all of the, entourage. He's just like in New York once, just sitting on the curb or something, just chilling. I was like, is that Idris Elba? It's just a regular dude who was very handsome. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bother him.
Very down to earth, and just loves to be creative, Yeah.
You so I want to just rapid fire because these are some of my favorite shows. Greenleaf on OWN, of course. I was in love with the family. All of the actors, all of them. And what did you do for Greenleaf? How many episodes, which seasons?
So I did 2 episodes for Greenleaf, but Greenleaf is a special story because Greenleaf is where I directed my first official television episode. I started off as an assistant on Greenleaf. Season 1, I was assisting the producing director. And I told them when I went in, I said, I'm a great assistant, but I am a director as well. And I'm working toward that. So I would love to learn, from all the directors who come through on the show. We had great directors come in. Regina King directed an episode of Greenleaf, and so I learned a lot. And so by season 3, I was starting to pick up little, like there would be like a little shot here and a little shot there that we didn't get on the day we ran out of time or something like that. And I was like, I can do those shots. I can direct those shots. And directing that stuff allowed me to get into the Directors Guild of America. And once you get in the guild, then you're open to actual jobs. Like people can hire you because it's a union job. So once I got into the DGA, season 4 came around, and I really aggressively went after an episode of Greenleaf. I said, I've been here from day one. I was raised in church in the South. Like, I know this story. Give me a shot, give me a shot. And they gave me a shot. And I directed my first episode of TV out of my home team, off my home team bench, I like to call it. And it was just the best because everybody surrounded me with so much encouragement and love, and like, you can do this and you're doing a great job. And even the actors, Lynn Whitfield, Keith
Legend.
David, legend.
Yes.
Who, in any other circumstance, I would have been completely, intimidated by, because they're so talented heavyweights. But because I had been working with them, for the past few seasons in a different capacity, it worked out great. So Greenleaf is near and dear to my heart, will always be. And I directed an episode in the last season, and then they brought me back because they loved my episode. And so I ended up doing 2 episodes that season. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us, is this the season where Grace's son came back? Is this?
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely, I forget the exact number of the episode, but mine was the one where she gets him a new apartment, and she's trying to like bond with him and things like that. And
I couldn't stand him. Oh, I couldn't stand him. Ooh, I was like, why? Maybe it was the actor. I was not feeling that storyline or him at all.
You were like, where did this son come from?
It's just random. It's a random son. And he's problematic, and he's messing up Grace's good life. Grace trying to get it together.
He was trying to get it together. Yes. But we
and Charity was this an episode with Charity was she drunk, or there was like one season where she was drunk a lot.
Yeah, she had started going through a lot. She had started going through things in terms of like one of her children, she had 2 twin babies and one of them passed away. And
right.
She so I love the way they dealt with that in a real way, because the actors were always wanting to make sure that we dealt with real human issues in a real way. You know how sometimes TV can gloss over real human emotions, especially when it's high drama. So they really fought for the ability to like show those human moments and show postpartum depression and all of that type of stuff. So I love working with that cast and crew so much. They were amazing. Yeah. Oprah was a part of it the first season, and she was always into it. She, even looking at wardrobe and making sure that was right. She always had her eyes on Greenleaf and making sure that it was the best that it could be. So the Harpo Films family and the OWN family and all them, they were great to work with.
Well, you cut your teeth with dealing with us providing batons and leaving space for people to keep running their race. That's kind of like the mission for me this year, and I have this whole pass the baton thing that I'm doing, because nobody starts from scratch. No one should start from scratch. It should always be somebody handing a baton. And I feel, especially with Black folk, previously we were conditioned to close the door behind us because we like to be the special magical Negro. But I'm seeing with Ava, DuVernay, and how she is open, and Oprah and a lot of folk now, Lena Waithe and they're just putting people on, even Carmichael, who did the the Golden Globes. I know he's notorious for, opening the doors for folk to come through. And I think that is so important.